There's been mud on my soul, there's been anger inside me, there's still unforgiven deeds that now it's time to free. I've been trapped inside so long, don't remember how to live, how much of life has passed me by as I slept inside my dreams. Oh yes, sip the waters too, let them wash all over you. Here you are at last, free yourself from past and walk into the new. Be guided by what's true, causing no one harm, least of all. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sat-Chit-Ananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase.
Satyam Shivam Sundaram Sansarasaram Abhayankaram Dukhaharam Karunavataram Jyotirmayam Swayambhu Prakritistudaram Shivasmarami Jagat Swami Nirvikaram.
Om Shanti. Someone is stealing blankets from the shoulders of the homeless, stealing them in the night, piling them up in warehouses for a rainy day. Someone is stealing blankets to keep the homeless on their feet in winter and moving on, preferably somewhere else. Someone is stealing blankets from some of the homeless to sell to the homeless for a small profit and smiles of gratitude. Someone is stealing blankets to cover things up. The act is same, but the intentions and the purposes differ. People resort to many such things depending on their intentions. And every act a person does, he tries to justify why he is doing that. There is always a justification associated with every unlawful or incorrect action. And from the point of view of that person, it is always correct. And every person wants to love half-truths. He doesn't want to explore, to understand, to face the whole truth. Because half-truths keep him in comfort and allow him to continue with what he is doing. Probably the complete truth, the whole truth, would terrify him. We often hear in Murli this saying, even if a person steals a straw, Kakh, it is equivalent to stealing 100,000. Stealing is stealing. What you steal, that is immaterial. Stealing is stealing. A theft is theft. So that's a very powerful and a very good Srimad that has been given to us to understand that every less crime is a more crime. The less is more. So no matter what you are stealing, stealing is stealing. It applies not just to the vice of greed, but to everything. Whether it is lust or anger or greed, attachment or ego, it is more or less same. Why does a person steal? The causes could be economical or non-economical. It could be a resentment. It could be emotional. It could be some anger, some frustration, or peer pressure. It could be anything. There is something called as shoplifting. You go to a shop, a mall, and you steal small things. It is not that the person needs that, but it has become a habit, or it is a compulsion, or it is an addiction. You love to steal things. You go somewhere and you see a pen, pencil, just take it and keep it in the pocket. Not that you need it, but it has become a habit. So stealing is also a habit. It has less to do with your needs, your requirements. It is a compulsion sometimes. It gives a feeling of thrill. You feel thrill, amusement, entertainment, or novelty, or curiosity, or something, a sort of kick, or some newness. But there are different types of stealings. One is gross, other is subtle. But stealing is stealing. Whether it is you steal a small thing or a big thing, whether it is subtle or gross, anything. And whenever you steal, you have to lie to yourself. So there is some amount of self-cheating always associated with stealing. A fear of getting caught. And then you have to resort to falsehood. To hide one untruth, you have to take help of many untruths. A man was caught stealing, and it got revealed that he was stealing for the third time from the same shop. And he was asked, "What you are doing? You're coming for the steal or theft for the third time in the same shop. What were you stealing?" He said, "I was stealing dress for my wife." "So why you came the third time?" He said, "To change the dress." So it applies to all the vices. Lust, it's not about the gross. It is also very subtle. Or rather, the beginning of the gross starts with subtle. All familiarities, they end up in sensualities. So a yogi has to keep himself or herself safe. All attachments, all subtle attachments, all psychological attachments become physical attachments sooner or later. So if you don't take care in the initial days, then later on they become strong chains that tie you down, and it is very difficult to unclutch. It is very difficult to disentangle. That's why the path of the yogi is the path of aloneness. He has to walk alone on this path. Even though you are in crowd, amidst crowd, within this gathering, yet the path is always alone. The moment you try to become somebody, make somebody your companion, you get into trouble. If you want to make somebody your companion, whom you should make your companion? Your friend? God is your friend. 1. Second, drama is your friend. Drama is your good friend. Gyan is your friend. Be in the company of your friend for a long time. Yoga is your friend. Seva is your friend. Maya. So explore newness. Make friendship with nature. Make friendship with silence. Make friendship with solitude. Make friendship with vairagya. Make friendship with divine virtues. And see what happens. And when you make friendship with somebody, you try to know that person more and more. So when you make friendship with drama, try to know drama more and more. What is the nature of drama? What does he do? What is his likes and dislikes? Try to know more and more about things. If you want to make friendship with God, you must stay with Him. You must explore Him. You must know everything about Him, the likes and dislikes of God. If you want to make friendship with Him, when you are friends with these things, you don't need worldly friends. And if at all you want to make friendship, let your friendship with those who are similar-minded. It is not the desire to enjoy the sensual pleasure, but it is the emptiness within that pulls the soul towards vices. The vacuum, the emptiness, the inner blankness, the spiritual darkness. When that darkness, when that emptiness, when that vacuum is created, that you pull the force of vices. So why not fill this vacuum, this blankness with something creative? And who is more creative than God? And what is more wondrous than knowledge? And what is more magnificent than purity? If at all you want to make friendship with purity. Make friendship with brahmacharya and see what powers enter your being. A new energy will flow in the system. You have never experienced that energy before. Such an energy, such a power, such a tremendous force. Why yogis are so powerful? Because of this potent force of brahmacharya. Why they can remain unattached? Why they don't require the company of males, females? Why they can survive? How they can survive privations, lack of things, and yet they remain happy. That is just because the force of this power. So make friendship with purity. New friends. Send a friend request. Invite. And see what they say. If they accept your invitation or not. So, if you analyze each and every vice, you come to realization that it is the inside emptiness that takes us to these vices. If you remain full, you don't need anybody, anything. If an artist is painting a picture, he just forgets the world. A poet doesn't need anybody. He is lost in his poetries. A musician, a dancer, all the creative people of this world, when they are into their art, they forget the world. A scientist, an absent-minded scientist, he just forgets the world. So see that even a trace doesn't enter you, because wherever there is stress, it turns into a big thing soon. So spiritual retreat is to clean the inner consciousness. Spiritual retreat is to do home cleaning. Home cleaning. So much dust has been acquired. The dust of vices, the dust of thoughts, the dust of passion, the dust of attachments. Clean them. That is what is spirituality. Self-purification. Spirituality is not about intellectual gymnastics. Spirituality is not about physical torture. Spirituality is not about going to some temple. Spirituality is not about sitting in front of some statue, some translate, and start praising God. You are this, you are that. Spirituality is not about wearing a particular costume or applying something on the forehead, or sporting a badge, or wearing a cap. Spirituality has nothing to do with external paraphernalias. Spirituality is internal transformation. Spirituality is to spark that divinity which is already within us. Is to kick off all those things which are obstacles in our progress. And the lust is the greatest barrier. And lust is the greatest obstacle in yogi's path. Unless and until you knock down lust, you cannot get rid of other vices. Rather, this is the first main commander, the first main barrier. When this falls down, then you can enter within. And then you can analyze that there is so much anger also within me. There is attachment also. There are ego, traces of ego within me. Otherwise, lust is a thick wall. You can't see anything. It's a commander. So yogi's greatest sadhana, greatest tapasya is the tapasya of brahmacharya. Then anger, small anger, big anger, whatever is the cause of anger. Anger is anger. To get irritated by somebody, that also shows your lack of faith in Rama. Probably you are not understanding other souls. Anger is the lack of patience. Anger is the lack of patience. And settled anger is hatred. When anger stays for a long time, it turns into hatred. In recent Murli Baba talked about dislike, grina, jealousy, carelessness, and impressing others. The four things. It is not about suppression of anger, but it is about seeing the worthlessness of anger. That anger goes away. Anger is the state of transitory madness. A person who is angry is mad for a moment. If you take a picture of a person who is angry and then show that same picture to him later on, he will deny. He said, "This is not me. Probably some ghost entered me that time." So whenever any vice arises, don't try to fight with it. Don't create a guilt consciousness. Don't say or question why this came. You become all the more frustrated. Rather, analyze it. As a detached observer, from where it came, there must be a springboard, a starting point, a source, a point of emanation. Trace that. What do you have to know? Trace the origin of vices. If there is a sudden disgust for somebody, if there is a sudden jealousy, from where it has arisen? The source is very deep somewhere in the subconscious, in the deep layers of subconscious. So it is there. The similar is attachment. Attachments die hard. They don't go away so easily. That's why husbands are busy most of the time searching the numbers of old girlfriends. Attachments are tough. If you are attached to somebody and then a detachment comes, after some time again that attachment pulls. You love somebody too much, but the same person you hate also. You want to die for that person, but you also want to kill that person. So it's a love-hate relationship. You can't go away from that person, you can't stay with that person. Such a complicated situation. The path of bachelor is always better. Bachelorhood, rishihood. So, attachments, minor attachments. When you start using something for some time, you develop an attachment. There was a man who used to love his dog, but he was going abroad. So he kept his dog with his neighbor and said that I will come back after 4 years. Till that time, you look after this dog. The neighbors happily agreed. The neighbor loved the dog, looked after the dog. And when the owner came, he gave back the dog. So easy. 4 years he kept the dog, but without any attachment. Always remembering that this is not my dog. That's why he could remain detached. Always remembering that the owner would come and take away. The owner has come now to take everything back. Whatever you have, none of those things were yours. Were you carrying those things before birth? You say, this is my bag. Before you were born, the bag was there. After your death, the bag would stay. This has been given to you just to take care. That's it. Can I send a mail? A junior monk asks the senior monk. The senior monk says, yes, you can send a mail, but without attachment. Send a mail, but No attachments. Then you are allowed. Otherwise, no. Stay in the world, yet detached. Do your work with detachment, selflessly. So see that small things, they turn into big things. So take care of these small things, the small leakages, the small attachments, the small blockages. The small temptations lead to bigger temptations. If you succumb to smaller temptations, the chances of yielding to higher temptations, bigger temptations is more. So path of yogi is the path of freeing oneself from passions, from temptations, from agitations, from excitements. It is the path of equanimity, samatha. And samatha and equanimity is the only and the real definition of purity. Purity is not just about celibacy or brahmacharya. It's about remaining stable, constant, equus in all the situations of life, no matter what life presents. Equipoise, equitable, sthir. That is Sthitapragya Yogi. So, start home cleaning, house cleaning, cockroaches, dust, garbage, rubbish, debris, pebbles, stones. So many things have gathered. Throw them off. Om Shanti.